Chapter 12 of the Holy War. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Joy Chan. The Holy War by John Bunyan. Chapter 12. Now all the while that the raging runagates and hellish Dibelonians were thus contriving the ruin of the town of Mansoul, they, namely the poor town itself, were in a sad and woeful case, partly because they had so grievously offended Shaddai and his son, and partly because that the enemies thereby got strength within them afresh, and also because, though they had by many petitions made suit to the Prince Emmanuel and to his father Shaddai by him, for their pardon and favour, yet hitherto obtained they not one smile, but contrariwise, through the craft and subtlety of the domestic Dibelonians, their cloud was made to grow blacker and blacker, and their Emmanuel to stand at farther distance. The sickness also did still greatly rage in Mansoul, both among the captains and the inhabitants of the town, and their enemies only were now lively and strong, and likely to become the head, whilst Mansoul was made the tail. By this time the letter last mentioned, that was written by the Dibelonians that yet lurked in the town of Mansoul, was conveyed to Dibolus in the Black Den by the hand of Mr. Profane. He carried the letter by Hellgate Hill as afore, and conveyed it by Cerberus to his lord. But when Cerberus and Mr. Profane did meet, they were presently as great as beggars, and thus they fell into discourse about Mansoul, and about the project against her. "Ah, old friend," quoth Cerberus, "art thou come to Hellgate Hill again? By Saint Mary, I am glad to see thee." Profane. "Yes, my lord, I am come again about the concerns of the town of Mansoul." Cerberus. "Prithee, tell me what condition is that town of Mansoul in at present?" Profane. "In a brave condition, my lord, for us and for my lords, the lords of this place, I trow. For they are greatly decayed as to godliness, and that is as well as our heart can wish. Their lord is greatly out with them, and that doth also please us well. We have already also a foot in their dish, for our Dibelonian friends are laid in their bosoms. And what do we lack, but to be masters of the place? Besides, our trusty friends in Mansoul are daily plotting to betray it to the lords of this town. Also the sickness rages bitterly among them, and that which makes up all, we hope at last to prevail." Then said the dog of Hellgate, "No time like this to assault them. I wish that the enterprise be followed close, and that the success desired may be soon effected. Yea, I wish it for the poor Dibelonians' sake, that live in the continual fear of their lives in that traitorous town of Mansoul." Profane. "The contrivance is almost finished. The lords in Mansoul that are Dibelonians are at it day and night, and the other are like silly doves. They want heart to be concerned with their state, and to consider that ruin is at hand. Besides, you may, yea, must think, when you put all things together, that there are many reasons that prevail with Dibolus to make what haste he can." Cerberus. "Thou hast said as it is. I am glad things are at this pass. Go in, my brave Profane, to my lords. They will give thee for thy welcome as good a coranto as the whole of this kingdom will afford. I have sent thy letter in already." Then Mr. Profane went into the den, and his lord Dibolus met him, and saluted him with, "Welcome, my trusty servant. I have been made glad with thy letter." The rest of the lords of the pit gave him also their salutations. Then Profane, after obeisance made to them all, said, "Let Mansoul be given to my lord Dibolus, and let him be her king for ever." And with that, the hollow belly and yawning gorge of hell gave so loud and hideous a groan, for that is the music of that place, that it made the mountains about it totter as if they would fall in pieces. Now, after they had read and considered the letter, they consulted what answer to return, and the first that did speak to it was Lucifer. Then said he, "The first project of the Dibelonians in Mansoul is likely to be lucky, and to take, namely, that they will, by all the ways and means they can, make Mansoul yet more vile and filthy. No way to destroy a soul like this. Our old friend Balaam went this way and prospered many years ago. Let this therefore stand with us for a maxim, and be to Babylonians for a general rule in all ages, for nothing can make this to fail but grace, in which I would hope that this town has no share. But whether to fall upon them on a market day, because of their cumber in business, that I would should be under debate. And there is more reason why this head should be debated, than why some other should, because upon this will turn the whole of what we shall attempt. If we time not our business well, our whole project may fail. Our friends the Babylonians say that a market day is best, for then will man's soul be most busy and have fewest thoughts of a surprise. But what if also they should double their guards on those days? And methinks nature and reason should teach them to do it. And what if they should keep such a watch on those days as the necessity of their present case doth require? Yea, what if their men should be always in arms in those days? Then you may, my lords, be disappointed in your attempts, and may bring our friends in the town to utter danger of unavoidable ruin. Then said the great Beelzebub, There is something in what my lord hath said, but his conjecture may or may not fall out. Nor hath my lord laid it down as that which must not be receded from, for I know that he said it only to provoke to a warm debate thereabout. Therefore we must understand, if we can, whether the town of Mansoul has such sense and knowledge of her decayed state, and of the design that we have on foot against her, as doth provoke her to set watch and ward at her gates, and to double them on market days. But if, after inquiry made, it shall be found that they are asleep, then any day will do, but a market day is best, and this is my judgment in this case. Then quoth Diabolus, How should we know this? And it was answered, Inquire about it at the mouth of Mr. Profane. So Profane was called in and asked the question, and he made his answer as follows. Profane. My lords, so far as I can gather, this is at present the condition of the town of Mansoul. They are decayed in their faith and love. Emmanuel, their prince, has given them the back. They send often by petition to fetch him again, but he maketh not haste to answer their request, nor is there much reformation among them. Diabolus. I am glad that they are backward in a reformation, but yet I am afraid of their petitioning. However, their looseness of life is a sign that there is not much heart in what they do, and without the heart things are little worth. But go on, my masters, I will divert you, my lords, no longer. Beelzebub. If the case be so with man's soul as Mr. Profane has described it to be, it will be no great matter what day we assault it, not their prayers nor their power will do them much service. When Beelzebub had ended his oration, then Apollyon did begin. My opinion, said he, concerning this matter is, that we can go on fair and softly, not doing things in a hurry. Let our friends in man's soul go on still to pollute and defile it, by seeking to draw it yet more into sin, for there is nothing like sin to devour man's soul. If this be done, and it takes effect, man's soul of itself will leave off to watch, to petition, or anything else that should tend to her security and safety. For she will forget her Emmanuel. She will not desire his company, and can she be gotten thus to live, her prince will not come to her in haste. Our trusty friend, Mr. Carnal Security, with one of his tricks, did drive him out of the town. And why may not my lord Covetousness, my lord Lasciviousness, by what they may do, keep him out of the town? And this I will tell you, not because you know it not, that 2 or 3 Diabolonians, if entertained and countenanced by the town of man's soul, will do more to the keeping of Emmanuel from them, and towards making the town of man's soul your own, than can an army of a legion that should be sent out from us to withstand him. Let, therefore, this first project that our friends in man's soul have set on foot be strongly and diligently carried on, with all cunning and craft imaginable, and let them send continually, under one guise or another, more and other of their men to play with the people of man's soul. And then perhaps we shall not need to be at the charge of making a war upon them, or if that must of necessity be done, yet the more sinful they are, the more unable, to be sure, they will be to resist us, and then the more easily we shall overcome them. And besides, Suppose